Welcome to the 2017 Scott Bicycles Junior Tour of Ireland, Europe's largest and longest youth cycling event, taking in 6 days of rugged west of Ireland countryside to find the ultimate champion. Mark Scanlon, Nicholas Roach, Mark Cavendish and Eddie Dunbar all have this great event under their belts. Last year it was Britain's Charlie Meredith to take the main prize.
And it's the usual 6.5 kilometre time trial south of Ennistown to get this year's Junior Tour of Ireland underway.
So just ahead of the first stage of the Scott Junior Tour of Ireland, the commissaires, officials and management getting this stage set for the riders, the Irish team warming up, and we can see Ben Walsh on the turbo trainer getting focused. The Irish team comprising Ben Walsh, Aaron Doherty, PJ Dugan, Dylan Corkery and Ethan Downey. The team managed by Martin O'Loughlin. So some of the other riders warming up, the USA West Sterling team, as Ben Walsh comes into focus as well. One of the riders expected to put in a big performance over the course of the next number of days. Rider number 1 off set and up the road. So another one of the Hot Tubes riders takes his leave of the start line, and now Brendan Flanagan of the Ulster team coming across the line. He's selling the 10th fastest time on the stage. Number 12 going through shot is Kevin Gugan of the USA East team. The American team very, very strong here last week and putting every ounce of energy as he comes across the line. 9th at 23 seconds. Eli Husted of the Hot Tubes team. A big, big team of riders over here this year. Regular visitors to Ireland, and he clocks 8th fastest at 23 seconds. Now coming into shot here, Cameron Orr having a very good season. He's riding with Lucan Cycling Club, coming across the line now 7th at 21 seconds. Alex McCormack of Hot Tubes, rider number 7, availing of a bit of drag, I expect, from the motorbike during the course of this time trial. Lovely flat back, another potential candidate for the overall, and he crosses the line 6th at 18 seconds down. The finishing flag telling the riders that this is the finish line at the end of those number of kilometres, 6 kilometres or so. Michael Garrison of the Hincapie development team, a good run to lie 5th at 16 seconds. Now a bit of a tailwind coming into the finish for the riders here, and rider number 4 with the Irish team, it's Dylan Corkery, performing so well last year and finishing in 11th place and 4th here at 16 seconds behind the leader, as the Hot Tubes team make their way on down towards their digs for the next number of days. Coming across the line now, Aaron Doherty, number 2. A very strong Irish team managed by Martin O'Loughlin, 3rd fastest at 12 seconds. And now Galen Kilburn of Hot Tubes, big strong finish here, best candidate. He's 2nd, 6 seconds behind the likely winner of the stage here, number 1. Big, powerful rider here. Look at the focus. No major movement of the body. You can see the head focused, looking ahead. Tall rider, very, very powerful into the final few meters here, and he's putting it all through the pedals here, sitting in the saddle. A lot of power here, and across the line. That's a stage win for Ben Walsh of Ireland. 7 minutes and 47 seconds, a 6-second lead.
Ben, what were the tactics in that time trial? You were first out.
I didn't really know what to expect, but I wasn't expecting. I was looking for a top 10 probably, and I got set up for a good GC in the end. But I said I'd go out and give it everything and see how I could hold on for the finish. But it's hard to know when you're first rider off, because lads know what the standard is set, and I suppose if you're looking at numbers going off, it's easier to sort of see what you have to get to. So I held on to it and I'm happy.
Stage 2, you're 6 seconds ahead of Hot Tubes. It's going to be between Ireland and Hot Tubes. A lot of people think for Stage 2. What's your feelings on it?
Yeah, Hot Tubes are strong, but the Irish scene has got so much stronger recently, and I think we've really good riders here, so I suppose we just have to work as a team. We have a strong team around us and see what happens. Try our best anyways.
So an Irish leader at the end of the opening stage, Ben Walsh with a 6-second lead over Galen Kilburn of Hot Tubes in the United States, with two other Irish riders, Aaron Doherty and Dylan Corkery, in third and fourth. Stage 2, 109 kilometres, beginning and ending in Ennis, going through Ballyvaughan and the North Clare coast, taking in Castle Hill and Doolin also.
So riders setting up for stage 2, including the yellow jersey. Ben Walsh surrounded by his teammates, American teams of East and West as well. And the weather's turned out well for the riders here ahead of stage 2. You can see the teams gathering. Also, Alan Clark on the left-hand side of Scott Ireland Bikes, the American team there as well. You can see them. And with the yellow jersey taken and Ben Walsh in that yellow jersey at this stage, Ben Walsh meeting the Mayor of Ennis and Clare ahead of the start of today's stage. The blue points jersey, and that's the lead car with the neutral flag as they pass out of Ennis as well. And just after the drop of the flag, we can see a breakaway. Ethan Downey of Ireland leading Dennis Allen with the Munster Academy. And Allen's teammate 95 is Jake Deering at the front of that group as well. You can see attacks coming from the riders thick and fast now at this stage. Hot Tubes were on the front, but it's Conor Gallagher of the Connacht team attacking the Irish riders. You can see right behind him there to the head of the field immediately. Ulster riders there as well. They're going to look to peel back any of the attacks and also keep the pace high and prevent any attacks that are going. You can see rider number 80 there on his Cervelo bike. Lovely style here for Conor Gallagher of Connacht. He's been reeled in, and we can see right behind all the players there the yellow jersey of Ben Walsh sitting in about 7th or 8th place or so. Ben Walsh again glances over his left and then his right shoulder. Owen McCardle-Ruan of the Nicholas Roach team set to attack off the front there. Rider 111 on his Neil Pride. Steele checks over his left hand shoulder just to see who's with him at that stage and really see is there a gap established for the riders. Owen McLaughlin of Connacht launches an attack alongside the Atlantic in the background there as well. The main bunch taking it easy-ish. It's lined out. It means the pace is up at this stage here, but the riders really minding themselves here in the main field. Ben Walsh there halfway down that main field at this stage here. Now a bit of a mechanical for the Nicholas Roach team here on the left hand side. You can see the mechanic leaning out the door here. The rider will be holding on just to keep the pace as steady as possible. Appears to be a problem with that rear derailleur, the motorbike passing through the field here, just indicating to the riders that he's coming through at this stage. The Irish team, Hot Tubes in the affair here, and still up the road Owen McLaughlin of Connacht powering away. Now this is about commitment at this stage and time trialing as well. These roads are such an advert for Ireland. Spectacular displays of vistas here as well for any of those riders who have the time to look to the right here. 2 bottles full, checking again over his left hand shoulder. The riders eating little, drinking often as well. You can see Stag Lucan riders represented on the left hand side of the road, but it appears that the field may be ready to take Owen McLaughlin back. He's within sights at the moment. Do expect the Irish team to pick up the pace here. Ben Walsh, his lead, tentative lead after the first stage was only 6 seconds and is lined out now. Looks like it's one of the Nicholas Roach riders on the front there, putting the pace up. About to go through Doolin as well. Doing a Gore cross here in Doolin. So Ben Walsh, the yellow jersey, in command, in control at the head of affairs. It's all back together again. Now this is the calm before the storm here. Castle Hill is about to come up here. Interesting to see, will there be any attacks for the riders? And it's a rider who's been away already indeed. It's Owen McLaughlin, rider number 79 of Connacht here. Let's see who's chasing him here, because any of these riders will certainly be looking for a potential stage win and also that yellow jersey. And there he is going through our picture with his Irish teammates beside him and around him. A small gap there, the yellow jersey sitting in the main bunch, 79 up the road. Now we do know there's an attack and there's an intent as well. These riders set to lose time and seconds. And is that Liam Hanley or young Orr as well, putting time in over the top of this climb here? McLaughlin in second place as he turns left for Lisdoon Varna atop and at the crest of Castle here. The riders really hurting here, but these are riders who are going to be general classification riders, I fear. You can see the Hot Tubes team setting the pace here. The left hand side, Ben Walsh is up there. Some of the riders getting bottles from support for the team, I suppose. And in on towards the finish now. The jersey unzipped. You can see the heat of the day. It's one of the cycling Leinster riders. It's Jack Caldwell clear of the field on the descent. Harrison White of Hot Tubes and Jake Deering of the Munster Academy are the two riders giving chase at the moment. Let's see who's at the head of this next chase here. It's the cycling Leinster team leading this chase group here of about 12 or so riders at the moment. The pack behind, it's the cycling Ulster riders at the head of affairs here. And looks like he has a little bit of a gap here at the moment and making use of it. You can see him peeling off the front of the field there. Brendan Flanagan of the Ulster team shoots off the front. He's on the descent now, but look at the beautiful profile. Tom Knight of the Giant team giving chase downhill at this stage here. That's very much a time trial position from yesterday evening as well. And now we can see the riders coming through here. Just the traffic ahead of the field being warned that there is a chase group here into Corofin. Toomey was leading, but it's a stage finish and it looks as if it's going to be a sprint in towards the finish altogether. Again, it's hammered down. You could see a bit of contact with the riders, but it's John Buller of Ulster taking the sprint ahead of Jason Oosthuizen of South Africa, second place, and Kevin Gogwin, USA East team, in third place. Alan Clark presenting another yellow jersey to Ben Walsh.
It's pretty tough, like it wasn't really our plan coming in there as for leading out the other lads, and yeah, it just got caught up in a few wheels and he lost mine. So
Very hot stage today, road works along it, buses, everything on the route.
the road works was terrible. There's stones coming up everywhere. It was tough, but you just had to keep safe going through there.
So a bunch sprint in the end taken by John Butler of Ulster, with Jason Oosthuizen of South Africa pipped for the post. Kevin Guggen of the United States East in third place. As you were then at the top of general classification, with Ben Walsh's lead rounded up to 6 seconds. Aaron Doherty, Dylan Corkery remain third and fourth. Michael Garrison of Hincapie in the United States in fifth. The Cliffs of Moher stage covers 101 kilometres, with a Category 2 climb alongside the cliffs. It's the usual big test.
So Garda Joe Fallon always making sure things go smoothly. You can see the riders chatting and at ease ahead of the start here for many of them. It's stage 3 for the riders, as are these cows. And it's action from the gun, a wet day, and the main field already split in two. Let's look at some of the riders here. Rider 31 is Reed Williams of the USA West, leading that chasing group left behind, and Solid Early Racing. You can see the Irish team at the head of affairs. Also Hot Tubes there, Ireland protecting the yellow jersey of Ben Walsh. A lot of racing going on at the start of this stage 3. Nothing going clear as yet. So it's going to make it quite hard for all of the riders here. Attacking, stalling, more attacking. And if the legs are anyways tired after those first couple of stages, some of those riders will be suffering and may not make those breaks either. So Cameron Orr of the Stag Lucan team involved in affairs, thinning out at the front of affairs here. And And a lot of the moves here being marked by the Irish national team. Still looking to keep it together. You can see them peeling off at the head of affairs there on the right-hand side. But the pace not too challenging for the riders as they head towards Doolin at this stage. And the riders the riders will have taken a bit of pressure out of the tyres, I expect, this morning, with the rain predicted ahead of this third stage here. Little gaps between the riders. Ben Walsh very confidently sweeps around the outside, and over 100 riders in the field here today, just keeping an eye on the wheels, keeping an eye on the gaps between the wheels, and for these riders out the back making their way back on. Now the USA team, so the pace dropped somewhat. A great time for attacks, I expect. Riders going off the front, and as we say it, rider number 8, that's Lane Marr from Hot Tubes, going clear at Liscannor, and that's Cameron Orr passing through the shot there ahead of the Cliffs of Moher, one of Ireland's most famous attractions, and well attended today for the spectacular views as well. And Orr coming through that descent there at the moment, just touching on the brakes, feathering the brakes there. The lead motorbike up ahead of him, but you can see it looks as if that's the yellow jersey. Ben Walsh in the yellow jersey, keeping an eye on the affairs here, and the riders very, very focused through that right-hand turn. Riders looking to take a good line through this corner here as well. Rather Ben Walsh up at the head of affairs. The mist beginning to come in for the riders, as another rider making his way back on through there. You can see the support from the Cycling Leinster car. Now 2 riders chasing back on. Rider 28, Thomas Fuller of West USA, and Morgan Curl of Giant CC, looking to get onto those back wheels. Irish team at the head of affairs, but there's another attack off the front, and this time it's Alex McCormack of Hot Tubes and PJ Dugan of Ireland getting off the front of the bunch here. And up the road is Eli Hosted of the Hot Tubes team. Irish rider Dugan marking the move. 2 Hot Tubes and 1 Irish rider, and yet again up the road is Cameron Orr from Lucan. A petite rider, but a powerful one at that, and yet again the Irish team putting riders up the road. This time it's the turn of Aaron Doherty. Doherty showing frustration over something, we don't know what that is, and naturally enough the Irish rider not complying. Ben Walsh looking comfortable sitting on the wheel of Hot Tubes rider Lane Marr at the head of affairs, and it's the Irish team setting the pace, looking very much to control things here. Rider 80 is Conor Gallagher leading the group, frustrated perhaps that he can't get away, and into the stage finish. It's a fantastic sprint, and taking the stage in the blue jersey is Jason Oosthuizen of South Africa, winning from Lane Marr of Hot Tubes and Conor Shunk of the Hincapie development team, and leading and winning by about 2 bike lengths as well. You can see some injuries to the riders from a stage crash out the road at the end of stage 3. Ben Walsh happy to take yet another yellow jersey after stage 3.
Again, let's hear it for the leader after stage 3, Ben Walsh from Team Ireland.
Yes, today was actually better conditions than expected. I thought it's going to be a bit more stormy. We started the stage off quite dry, and then halfway through on that fast descent we got some rain. I heard there was a few crashes on the road with the slippery terrain, but luckily we got home safe.
So you watched the race the whole way through, you kept yourself up near the front?
Yes, the whole stage I stayed near the front because I was scared for a breakaway to go. It's the ideal stage for a breakaway with fast roads, and I knew some crosswinds are going to be part of the race near the coast. So I just stayed near the front to watch all the big contenders, and luckily everything stayed together. Ireland and Hot Tubes mostly control the pacemaking, and they won't let anyone go. They're quite strong teams, so nice controlled race, and we got home.
The last 200 metres to the finish here, you got that bit of a lead.
Yes, just as we went around the last circle, there was a crash behind me with one rider getting a gap. So it was hard to chase him down and still open up a sprint. But luckily we caught him in the last few 100 metres, and I can open up with some legs to spare. Being fully rested after a proper climb halfway through, rested on the downhill so the legs are good. So I was able to catch the rider in front and still open up my sprint.
At the end of stage 3 of the Scott Bicycles Junior Tour here in Ennis this evening.
Yeah, I'm happy out. We had a strong performance as a team today. I got a bit of bad luck at the start of the stage, got a puncture on the line and another back wheel puncture then halfway through. But we didn't panic and I got back in and we were all safe home, so it was a good day.
I'm hearing that the Irish team and the Hot Tube teams are the two strong teams in this so far.
Yeah, we have a very strong team and I suppose they're the main competitors and they're not really putting us under pressure yet, but we'll see what the next few days have to hold.
Another sprint then, this one taken by Jason Oosthuizen. The South African finished second yesterday. He's ahead of Lane Marr and Conor Shunk this time, with Conor Gogan in 4th position. No change to the GC then. Ben Walsh still with that 6-second advantage over Galen Kilburn and 23 seconds dividing the top 8. Stage 4 beginning and ending in Ballyvaughan, 97 kilometres covering the Wild Atlantic Way and a lot of the Burren.
So stage 4 starting on the North Clare coast and beautiful Ballyvaughan as well. The Lucan Stag team getting ready for the start. And riders warming up as well ahead of what should be a very, very fast stage. The team ITAP riders as well just getting ready. You can see in the background the flags there, quite a wind up for the stage, and that could well affect events later on. Some of the tourists watching the start of the event as well, capturing as much as possible on camera, of course. And you can see a breakaway established already, 5 riders in that leading breakaway, and 3 of them from the Irish team, PJ Dugan, Dylan Corkery, Ethan Downey and Conor Shunk, who was up there yesterday from the Hincapie team, and rider 104 is Tom Knight from the Giant team, as the riders make their way around the Burren this afternoon, taking time out. You can see the wind, it's going to be a factor for today's stage, and quite a heavy wind at that. For some of the riders, a tailwind will be very, very welcome indeed. Now the picture coming into focus is that main bunch. You can see Cameron Orr there up towards the head of affairs on the right hand side of the bunch, riders trying to get away. Ulster riders and some of the Irish national team up there as well. And the tall figure in the yellow jersey, of course, is Ben Walsh. Riders out the back already trying to make their way back on. You can see them making their way through the cars in the background. Walsh very much in control as he moves over onto the right hand side just to follow the pace. And just up the drag here across one of the King of the Mountains sprints here. 5 riders still clear at this stage. The Irish team are contributing, not forcing the pace, but certainly contributing to the pace here. And on the right hand side you can see the Hincapie rider, that's Conor Shunk, setting the pace, and the Irish team spreading themselves out well. Reminder here, it's PJ Dugan, Dylan Corkery, Ethan Downey and Tom Knight as well in that breakaway group. Irish riders at the head of affairs here as they're descending. Beautiful panoramic pictures here, a sweeping left-hand turn for the riders here, and as they glimpse over their left-hand shoulders just to get a sense of where the bunch are at this stage, there's certain to be other riders that are chasing here, and indeed from Hot Tubes is Alex McCormack, and the riders' numbers being called out by the motor marshal as well. They'll be informed to the team cars as well, the team managers understanding that they've got riders in the break. Little gaps appearing here at this stage, making it difficult for the other riders as well. So the Lucan riders at the back of the bunch here. Good crowds visiting the Dolmen here in the Burren, and riders ascending Corkscrew Hill. It could be a factor in this year's race, certainly a factor if you're not keeping up with the head of affairs riding the ascent with the Irish jerseys, and riders just sitting there in second place. Ben Walsh back in about 8th or 10th or so, and he'll be marking the wheels of all the riders moving forward. And certainly the Hot Tubes riders, plenty of riders here, and you can see the USA West team as well. Some of the riders out the back here head down, and that means one of these riders is certainly going out the back at this stage here. Tough climb for rider 81 here, and the riders contesting the top of the climb here. Cameron Orr from Stag Lucan taking that ahead of Ben Walsh and Galen Kilburn of the Hot Tubes team, who's second overall on general classification behind Ben Walsh of the Irish national team. Now riders trying to get away after the KOM there. You can see them putting in a bit of an effort, and it's going to take an awful lot to stay away from that main bunch, managed and driven by the Irish national team. Martin O'Loughlin, of course, is the director sportif for the Irish team. The Hincapie riders on the front, so too are the Hot Tube riders. And Cameron Orr there sitting in 3rd place, looking to take the polka dot jersey. And pace very much gone out of it now. Ben Walsh sitting comfortably in the middle of the bunch. And on into the finish, the end of stage 4. Any of the riders looking for a sprint finish, they'll be hot on the heels of the riders here coming in. That last kilometre really fast, and you can see it's a sprint finish in here. The weather has been a factor, a crosswind, and taking the stage, Ronan Toomey of Tarrant Skoda Munster wins ahead of South Africa's Jason Oosthuizen, winner yesterday, and Hot Tubes rider Lane Marr. Ben Walsh, rider number 1, retains the yellow jersey as leader of the general classification. As Alan Clark presents yet again the 3rd yellow jersey to Ben Walsh of the national Irish team. So the riders proudly displaying their overall jersey, points jersey, green jersey, and the respective classification jerseys as well. Cameron Orr leading the mountains classification.
Yeah, I had a good team working for me. They set me up for all the King of the Mountains, so thanks to them, I'm just happy to win the jersey as well.
And you had 2 King of the Mountains very close together, a couple of kilometres apart today.
Yeah, that was good. So it was a bunch of minutes behind, so I knew I had them, so we just rode steady and took them.
And you say your team is helping you to win these stages, or win these King of the Mountains?
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job. I probably wouldn't be in it without them.
The stage basically started off fairly hard attacks, starting straight off the line, and their breakout away was fairly dangerous. Right, there was 3 Irish lads and a Hot Tubes and some lad from Hincapie, so I knew it would kind of be dangerous. But with the yellow jersey and the white jersey back there, I knew it would be kind of safe to leave it go, and they'd control it right after all the KOH points were gone. So I knew it was going to be hard early on with the KOH, all after 60k and early, so I kind of saved myself for then. And then at 70k to go, I had 70k out, had a bit of a crack to go, and went on a descent, and a group of 5 of us got away with the yellow jersey in 2nd, 3rd place, and we just drove it on from there. But we got caught around 10k from the line, and then I had to go with 4k to go. I countered a move, and luckily I just about held off the South African lad who was coming up behind me, so delighted, to be honest.
Close to another stage win for Jason Oosthuizen. It's the 3rd day in a row he's had a top 2 finish, but victory going to Ronan Toomey of Munster, with Lane Marr of the United States 3rd. Significant changes at the top though. Michael Garrison losing 20 seconds, Alex Mccormack 2 minutes, so they drop out of the top 10. Ben Walsh still in the lead by 6 seconds from Galen Kilburn. Another day of climbing for stage 5, crossing into County Galway and finishing up that classic climb of Gallows Hill.
So good image here of one of the riders using a back baller to be presented as prizes during the course of the week. And a picture here is Toby Barnes of the British Cycling West Midlands team. Scott Kinsella giving a bit of instruction to the USA East team, Hot Tubes as well, gathering, planning, seeing can they wrestle that yellow jersey off the shoulders of this man here, Ben Walsh, rider number 1 and rider number 1 on general classification, as well as the riders depart Bearfield, and already perhaps exceeding that 50-kilometre limit that we saw for the riders leaving town. Irish national team on the front of affairs, Hot Tubes sitting on their coattails. The Hincapie team up there as well. All the power players for stage 5 of the Junior Tour of Ireland at the head of affairs as they wheel out of town. Now the decision to be made at this stage is whether or not to let some of the riders up the road, and already we can see the Connacht riders are up the road, and it's a rider that we've seen up the road plenty during the course of this week. It's Conor Gallagher of the Connacht team. A magnificent position for this rider here, really flat back, head focused, hands on top of the hoods, putting an awful lot of power into those pedals. It looks as if he's got a skin suit on. Again, feathering the brakes, going around the roundabout here. The riders taking the correct way, the Irish team on the front here, Hincapie team to the head of affairs. And if it's one rider out on their own, well, they can marshal that because they can set the pace. But there's other riders looking to go clear up the road also at this stage. And those riders include Galen Kilburn of the Hot Tubes team at the front of affairs. And 2 riders going clear at this stage. Gallagher is certainly one of them. It looks like it's a Hincapie rider joining him. Riders working up and over, but a very strong candidate in Gallagher there as he takes his turn through the right-hand side of affairs. Interesting to see who's at the front of the bunch at this stage, because the Irish team are the ones that retain the yellow jersey, and indeed the Irish team, Ulster up there as well, Hot Tubes represented. Very much in formation according to general classification. You see this on all of the big tours as well. The GC rider protected by his team, and rider 82 going through shot is Oisin Gannon, also of the Connacht team. The riders entering County Galway at this stage, but you can see by the bunch here, they're spread right across the road. The pace isn't in it at the moment. Riders making their way up on the right hand side are using it as a chance to eat and drink as well as we move through East Clare Way. 3 riders going clear, including Gallagher, Michael Garrison of the Hincapie development team, but at this stage only a slender lead. The bunch turning right and going up a narrow climb here, so you can see the riders just going through gears and trying to get the most sensible gear for this little drag here. Gallagher, number 80, on the right hand side. Now it would appear that there is a gap established. Commissaire's car making the way up through the field on the right hand side, and you can see the pace responding to it as well here. And right at the head of affairs, the Irish team marking the move, setting the pace as well at the front of affairs. You would expect Ben Walsh to be a little bit further up, I sense as well, and out of the wind at that stage as well, you can see. So plenty of people at the side of the road here waiting to see the riders either at speed, turning through left here. The Ulster team at the head of affairs, riders descending, but being very, very conscious of speed and also the road surface as well. 5 riders going clear at this stage as we get towards Gallows Hill. Hugh Owen of the Nicholas Roach team, Evan O'Donnell of the Munster Academy in this break, Sean Kennedy from the Nicholas Roach Performance team, Ethan Downey of the Irish team, he's in there to mark this move and he's sitting at the back as they go through shot, and Mark Jaroszewski of the Dornier Racing team as well. The Hot Tubes rider sitting on the back here, the Irish rider so too. They're going to leave it up to the other 3, but it's the Irish rider attacking at this stage and more so responding to the attack of Hugh Owen is in this group as well, and it's the Stag Lucan rider. Could that be Cameron Orr going through shot? It could well be. Riders taking on food and drink at this stage in a mechanical or perhaps a crash, and we're going to have attacks, I sense here. Apprehensive ahead of Gallows Hill, and there is indeed an attack, and no surprise to see Cameron Orr of Lucan in the move here. PJ Dugan of the Irish team in that move as well. So up towards Gallows Hill, and the hammer's going to be down. Brendan Quigley hosts the checkered flag into the air, and now the attacks have started, and it's Lane Marr from Hot Tubes attacking, looking to take the stage win. Cameron Orr just behind him, a couple of bike lengths behind him. Ben Walsh is there too, but it's Lane Marr driving into the final corner, about 150 metres or so. Cameron Orr goes through shot, Ben Walsh too, but it's Lane Marr of Hot Tubes takes the stage from a fast finishing Cameron Orr, and third place to Ben Walsh, number one of the Irish team. You can see the riders spread out, and riders still attacking up, and it's Liam Hanley of Stag Lucan, spurred on by his mother there. The rest of the field fighting for general classification places. Well done to all of the riders here at the end of stage 5. Lane Marr of Hot Tubes confirmed as winner atop Gallows Hill. Cameron Orr of Lucan Cycling Club in second place. In yellow jersey, Ben Walsh of Ireland in third. So at the stage finish, it's Lane Marr of Hot Tubes wins atop Gallows Hill, ahead of Cameron Orr of Lucan Cycling Club, and yellow jersey Ben Walsh of Ireland in third place. And in picture, Ciaran McKenna, president of Cycling Ireland, presents the yellow jersey to Ben Walsh and a bunch of flowers. Liam Mulcahy, physio to the Irish team, in shot 2.
Ben, an eventful day, a fall and a puncture, you still retain the yellow jersey.
Yeah, thank God I had teammates around me, because I think other teams were taking advantage of the puncture, and when I crashed on the second last KOH, puncture's just bad luck, but crashes can be avoided. Like, there was a team there, we've launched an official complaint, but I won't say anything until we know what's going to happen, but it wasn't pretty anyways. It shouldn't be in racing at all.
You got back up into the bunch again.
Yeah, hard effort on the descent of the second KOH, and thank God I got on, recovered, and hopefully retain the jersey.
And you're in position coming up Gallows Hill here.
Yeah, PJ Dugan put himself in the front, set a good tempo, and just neutralised the attacks until, say, halfway up, and then I took it up. Cameron Orr from Lucan, he was very strong, and the white jersey was sort of marking me, but couldn't come around me in the end, so I'm happy.
Coming into the hill, I was probably about 20th wheel, and I was moving up, sitting about 10th wheel for the most part of the climb, but the second to last kick on the climb I popped, but I was with a few other kids, and as we were catching back on to the leaders, we had a lot of momentum, and I didn't really want to give that up, so I just jumped because I felt I had something, and I held it to the line, so I was happy.
So great day for Hot Tubes, and teammate Galen, you're still lying second to Ben Walsh, 6 seconds behind. Did you think you'd catch him today?
I was hoping to. I made some moves on the first 2 big climbs, like Windy Gap and the one before that. And the first one, I got a bit of a gap with a couple other guys, but then he was able to catch back on towards the end of the descent. So then it really came down to this climb, and my legs just didn't have the punch that I wanted them to have. So I didn't lose any time, but I didn't gain any either. So I mean, we'll see how tomorrow goes, but it's going to be very hard to get any time on that stage like that.
Yet again, a dramatic stage and a good win for Lane Marr this time, ahead of Cameron Orr of Lucan, with the yellow jersey of Ben Walsh in third place, and he is the champion-elect. That's because he leads now by 6 seconds from Galen Kilburn, with Aaron Doherty and Dylan Corkery remaining in the top 4 positions.
Stage 6 of the Junior Tour of Ireland is set to take place. At the moment, Ben Walsh of the Irish national team leads, with Galen Kilburn of Hot Tubes at only 6 seconds. 15 cyclists within 42 seconds. It's all set to kick off here. Stage 6 of the Junior Tour of Ireland.
So the traditional finish for the Junior Tour of Ireland then. 7 laps around an 11-kilometre course, normally ending in a mass sprint.
So stage 6 takes the riders on a fast but testing circuit around Ennis, and right as they head out of town here, Stag Lucan team on the front, Liam Hanley at the front of affairs, marked by the Irish team and Hot Tubes team as well. Ben Walsh commanding a 6-second lead on second place. He's held the yellow jersey since that very first time trial, the stage which he won, but expect plenty of attacking today. We believe the Hot Tubes team looking to wrestle that yellow jersey from his shoulders. 4 riders off the front of the main bunch. 12 seconds of a lead at the moment. Eli Husted of the Hot Tubes team, Bjorn Larson of the Hincapie development team, Evan O'Donnell of the Sensa Munster Academy, and rider number 114 Sean Kennedy of the Nicholas Roach performance team, Titan Containers. The motor trying to make its way up through the bunch here as well. A bit of speed on at the front of affairs here. You can see the Hincapie riders, the Hot Tubes we mentioned as well, just looking to bring back any breaks, perhaps settling for a sprint stage finish. But these lovely ladies enjoying themselves on a Sunday afternoon in Ennis, right behind the chasing field at the moment. And Connacht Cycling putting another rider into the breakaway there. 3 riders going off the front of the bunch, main bunch, looking to bring them back. Hot Tubes on the front of the bunch at the moment. Ben Walsh marking all the moves, and a slight gap for the riders at this stage here. Very, very slight gap for Ben Walsh and his colleagues. 3 riders out front now at this stage. Conor Shunk from the Hincapie development team as well, the Irish team, placing riders at the front of affairs, keeping the pace high, keeping the pace steady, and making sure that Ben Walsh can take that stage 6 perhaps, but also the general classification as well. Now, riders that we'll be looking for later on include Jason Oosthuizen from the Hot Tubes team, and also another rider from me, John Buller from Banbridge with the Cycling Ulster Academy, another rider. Very, very fast finisher, and a circuit such as today will suit him very, very well. Now, after a sweeping descent, they're onto the main road back in towards Ennis here. 3 laps to go for the riders, and 17 Shunk from Hincapie still out on his own, but shortly to be reeled back. Looks over his left hand shoulder, and once again Shunk on the attack, marked by Ben Walsh. Walsh certainly not going to come through for any of these attacks here. It's simply a case of marking the riders and getting in towards the finish. The Irish national team at the head of affairs again, having to do an awful lot of chasing during the course of this stage, and it looks as if 5 riders off the front of the bunch here. Hincapie have a rider there, and number 7 is Alex Mccormack. He's been in all the moves this week. 79 coming through shot as well. Another one of the riders who's been up in the action, it's Owen McLaughlin in picture at the moment. And it's Reuben Bacon of the Hincapie team there, just sat proudly on the wheel of Owen McLaughlin. And a count of 1, 2, 3 riders going through shot at the moment. The riders working very, very well together, and the lead up to over 40 seconds at this stage. This is the left sweeping bend which brings the riders back in towards Ennis. Sean Kennedy working very, very well at the front of affairs. The Wexford Wheelers team car in support in towards the finish, and a lot of expectation, a lot of support as well for these riders. A great reception here in Clare over the course of the years. Tony Campbell to the left hand side of shot, and it looks as if it's coming down to a sprint finish. Indeed it is. Hands off the bars. It's John Buller of Ulster takes the stage win from Jason Oosthuizen of South Africa, and Michael Hall Swinnerton, Great Britain, yellow jersey, overall winner. Ben Walsh of the Irish national team safely across the line, and you can sense the relief for the riders here today as well. A great support of course for Ben Walsh, rider number 1 of the Irish cycling team, and a phenomenal performance from Ben Walsh. He's held the race lead right at the end of stage 1 when he took that stage by 6 seconds. He's held it right through the course of the week. The Connacht riders there relaxing, taking a drink after the finish of this 6th stage. Comes up from all of the riders, and what a great experience it will have been. So we're catching up with Ben Walsh, overall winner of the 2017 Junior Tour of Ireland. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, absolutely over the moon. Like, to hold it from start to finish was amazing, but I couldn't have done it without the 4 lads here. They're absolutely unreal, and it's not just me that's won it, like, we've done it together, so it's brilliant.
It is a big, big team effort. I saw it there during the course of that final 6th stage. You're sitting in about 10th, 15th place, always with a couple of your riders marking moves. How much pressure were you put under today?
I wasn't put under pressure because of these They were under pressure a couple of times, but they kept me safe the whole race, and it was dodgy enough the last 2k, and Hot Tubes and Cameron Orr put in a few digs, but they kept it under control the whole way to the finish.
Tell me, fastest time trial in the first day, holding it during the week. I imagine as happy as you might be, you must be very, very tired after the week.
Yeah, I'm very tired, but I'd say it's more mentally draining than physical, because it's just the mental strain going into each stage, wondering can you hold on to it, and the pressure, but it worked out well in the end.
Well done. Congratulations, Ben Walsh, winner of the 2017 Junior Tour of Ireland.
Ulster's John Butler gets his second stage win of the Junior Tour of Ireland, but what great consistency by Oosthuizen all the way through. Means the green jersey will be his. But victory in the 2017 Junior Tour of Ireland going by Ben Walsh. He led from the opening day, always that 6-second margin over Galen Kilburn, with Doherty, Corkery and Orr taking the next 3 spots.
So on to the jersey presentations, and taking the first stage jersey from today's stage 6 is John Butler. His second stage during the course of the week, and presented with a back baller prize as well. The first year junior jersey going to Galen Kilburn of the Hot Tubes team, and delighted for them as well to take a prize home after a very, very hard week. Cameron Orr taking the King of the Mountains jersey with that fantastic second place atop Gallows Hill yesterday. Well done to himself and the Lucan Stag team. And Jason Oosthuizen from South Africa taking the points jersey after a fantastic week for himself. Big, powerful track rider, and the track season set ahead for himself. The Irish national team, Martin O'Loughlin on the left-hand side as Director Sportif, and of course in the centre, Ben Walsh, winner of the general classification.
I managed to get the overtake PJ for the competition after he was in the break most of the day, and just managed to nick a few more points than him. So get the jersey on the last day. Yeah.
It was nice to take it on the last day, but you're here guesting with Stag Lucan as well. How's it been for you and the team during the week?
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, just sort of taken me in really well, and they're a great bunch of Shay organising it, and all the guys have been really friendly to me. So yeah, it's been great riding for Lucan. Yeah.
Tell me about the level of competition here, because the Junior Tour of Ireland is followed in a few weeks' time by the Junior Tour of Wales. The level of competition here, it really is something else, and not forgetting your general classification placing as well.
Yeah, it's a really high level. Like, it's the first time I've properly raced, and the teams have been really organised, like chasing down all the riders, pushing for the top spot on GC. So that was a different experience, like having it controlled by Ireland and Hot Tubes. But yeah, it's been good as well, just sort of learning to race like that.
And racing at that level into stage 6, the speed today was really, really up there, wasn't it? What was it like in the bunch?
It was pretty fast. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I was like near the front so I could see where I was going. And I'm quite small, so I can't really look over the bigger guys. But yeah, so you could feel the wind through your hair.
We're catching up with Jason Oosthuizen from South Africa, winner of the points jersey. Congratulations. How has the week been for you?
The week has been very competitive. It was flat box racing from the first day out. Had a bad time trial, but as the week progressed, it went better.
The competition over here, the level of competition, we've over, I think, 45 international riders coming over here. What's your view on the standard of racing here and the level of competition?
It's very strong racing. It's very strong racing. I've been over in Holland for the previous 2 weeks, then I came down for the tour, and the level of racing is similar. It's hard racing from the gun, no one hesitates. It's nice competitive racing.
Recently, the last couple of days, Nicolas Roche's over on the Tour de France, and he mentioned towards the end of one of the stages, he said it was like racing in the Junior Tour again. He said it was go, 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 no giving up, everybody firing on all cylinders. And right up to stage 6 today, it was the same.
That was exactly what it was. Even today, the last 500 meters to the line was a flat box race. There's no letting up. It's just the juniors race up the hill, and over the hill they go even faster. So it's nice to have that type of racing, especially internationally, to compare the standards of the different countries. So yes, I agree with him. The racing here is especially very hard in this tour.
So taking the points jersey home, what is next for you over the next couple of months?
I'll go back to Holland for 2 more weeks racing there, and then back to South Africa, some more local racing, preparing towards junior track world champs. I've been selected for that, so the build-up will be towards that.
And the final yellow jersey of the week, well done to Ben Walsh, presented with the trophy by Alice Chirac, race organiser, the Irish national team, taking first prize on the team and first prize for Ben Walsh overall for the 2017 Scott Bikes Junior Tour of Ireland. Our winners, Ben Walsh, Jason Ustays and Cameron Orr, John Buller, as well as Galen Kilburn.
It's been an incredible stage 6 here of the Junior Tour of Ireland 2017. Ben Walsh has taken the overall. What a win for the Irish team. Join us again next year.